Big wins for the month of April in immigration, especially for green card holders. These four groups of immigrants will see significant benefits in the month of April and hopefully continuing into the month of May. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the four groups of immigrants, especially green card holders, who can now submit petitions for themselves or for their families. I'm going to break down these four different types of immigrants, how to submit their petitions and applications, and why it is so important for them to take action right now. I have not seen a month of April quite like this one in immigration for a very long time, and I cannot wait to get into it. And just to top it all off, a federal judge has also issued a ruling that will positively impact 900,000 immigrants. All right, so let's get right into it. The four groups of immigrants who are seeing major developments for the month of April. And again, I truly enjoy bringing this information to you, not only as an immigration attorney, but also as a former immigrant myself who has personally relied on petitions and applications just like the ones that we are seeing become available in the month of April. All right, without further delay, let's go. Number one, green card holders. The F2A category is now available, and it is now current. So the F2A category applies to green card holders who wish to petition for their spouse. So what exactly does that mean? It means that a green card holder can submit a petition for their spouse who is currently inside the US and is maintaining lawful status, and that petition will be processed. Typically, only United States citizens are able to do that. Previously, the green card holder would have had to file that petition, and they would essentially be assigned a visa number, and then they would have to wait a certain period of time before it became current. But now, in April, the F2A category is current. So if you are a green card holder and you have a spouse who is here in the US, you can petition right away as though you were a United States citizen. You can visit the visa bulletin and find all the relevant information there for the F2A category. Green card holders, this is a remarkable opportunity for you to file on behalf of your spouse. But remember the key point here. Your spouse cannot be present without lawful authorization or have any unlawful status. Your spouse must be maintaining lawful status, and that also applies to those who are here on a visitor visa. So now is the time to take full advantage of this opportunity for green card holders, and this is especially significant for nationals of countries that have historically experienced major backlogs, such as India and China. All right, number two group of immigrants, EB2, the employment-based second preference category. This visa is now current. So, if you are an immigrant and you have an employer who is willing to petition for you, or who has already petitioned for you based on your skills, your experience, and your advanced qualifications, they can file that petition on your behalf, and it is available for processing right now. That category is now current, and there are additional visas available. Also, if you are an employer, this is wonderful news. You can have that employee obtain their work authorization within approximately 3 to 4 months and then pursue their green card shortly after. There is no extended waiting period. This is a tremendous opportunity. In the EB2 category, what is required? First, it is required for the employer to extend a job offer to the employee. That is the first step. Second, there must be a labor certification completed. A labor certification essentially confirms that the position was advertised and that no qualified U.S. citizen or permanent resident was available to fill it. And third, that immigrant must bring value and benefit to that business. They must hold some type of degree or an advanced degree, or if they only hold a bachelor's degree, they must demonstrate progressive work experience in their field. These are outstanding opportunities, beneficial for American businesses, beneficial for employers, and equally beneficial for employees. And the very same opportunity is available for the EB3 category as well. Number three, asylum seekers. This category had been paused for an extended period of time, but processing has now resumed. The current administration has stated that they will resume processing for asylum seekers who are currently present in the country. However, and of course there is an important exception. This applies only to asylum seekers who are from lower risk countries, not from higher risk countries, but from lower risk ones. And of course, the administration will be the one to determine which countries fall into the lower risk category and which fall into the higher risk category. Additionally, these asylum applications must go through a thorough screening and vetting process. But the encouraging news is that processing is now actively underway because there had been a significant halt placed on asylum. This is positive news for asylum seekers, as processing is now resuming. And number 4, last but certainly not least, a federal judge has ruled that the current administration unconstitutionally revoked the parole status of 900,000 individuals who entered through the CBP-1 application. Under the previous administration, 900,000 immigrants legally entered the country through the CBP-1 app and were paroled into the country. However, once the transition occurred, those individuals were sent notices stating that they were required to depart the country, and some of them were even removed. The federal judge has now ruled that this action was unconstitutional and that these individuals need to have their status restored and reinstated. So this is indeed a win. It will allow people who entered lawfully and were vetted and screened through the CBP-1 app to be able to move forward with other immigration processes. So if you are one of these 4 types of immigrants, if you are a green card holder, now is the time to file that I-130 and that I-485 to adjust the status of your spouse. Of course, you will need to demonstrate that it is a bona fide marriage. And yes, lawful status can include being present on a visitor visa. And for the second group, the EB2 and EB3, now is the time for you to file that I-140 and to also submit your adjustment of status application. That is precisely what current means in relation to the visa bulletin. So, if you are an employer who has been waiting, now is the time to file the adjustment of status, and if you are the employee who has been waiting, you can request that job offer so that your employer can initiate the labor certification process and then begin filing with immigration. Number 3, asylum is now back open. So now is the time, especially if you feel like your asylum application was not as strong as it could have been, meaning you submitted a minimal application, now is the time to amend it. Gather those supporting affidavits. Make sure that you have current country condition documentation. Make sure you have all the evidence that is necessary to build a compelling asylum case. And it is worth noting that many asylum cases are ultimately decided on credibility. How effectively you are able to testify, how thorough and convincing your affidavit was in demonstrating that you belonged to a particular social group that experienced a form of persecution, that there is a legitimate fear of harm upon returning to your home country, and also that the government in your home country failed or refused to protect you. And last but not least, for those who entered on parole through the CBP-1 app and are still in the country, you can now step forward with confidence because you do have your lawful status. You can now file and move forward with your case, and you may also potentially have a valid asylum claim if you have not yet submitted one. So this is truly a significant month for immigration, and I sincerely hope that this information has been helpful to you. Please like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment if this was useful to you or if you believe it could be helpful to a friend or a family member. They could be an athlete, they could be an entertainer, they could be an employer, they could be an employee. If this information is relevant to them, please make sure to pass it along. The time to take action is right now.